I am Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat South America. There's never a dull moment. So the reason I'm going live is that currently in the city with which I live, we are under a tsunami warning. Now, I think people hearing about this are going to be more concerned about this than I am. We'll see if I may have the settings wrong. I'm not even sure if this is public and people are seeing this. I'm doing this so nobody's worried about it, because what will happen is I'll get a bunch of emails, and I just want everybody to know that we are fine here. Somebody's watching. So good, it is public. So what happened, there was a weird feel this morning. There was something strange. The streets were empty. If you look out here, there's a ton of boats that normally are not, they're usually moored somewhere in the marina. And if you look over here, the marina is empty. All the slips are completely empty. I'm not sure if those are a fixed dock or a floating dock, but if you have a fixed dock, when the waters raise, your boat's going to sink. If it's a floating dock, the boats do this with the water. So I asked around and got a little bit of info, and there's a very, very strong military presence. And we are under a tsunami warning. And what they said is going to happen is they're expecting a surge of 3 feet. We got here, I kid you not, there's never been a dull moment. And today is no exception. So, now, it's not something I'm really concerned about. Hi, Dave. Good to see you. Hello, Tyler. Thanks for stopping in. So, now it's kind of hard to see because you can't zoom in, but the marina is right there, and every slip is empty. Yeah, there's some boats that are have their anchors dropped, but there's not one boat in a slip there, which makes me feel like it must be a fixed dock. Tommy and I used to have a boat, and floating docks are great because as the water levels rise, the boat can too. But if a fixed dock, when the waters rise, the boat can't, and it ends up sinking boats. So, Timothy Hassett, good to see you. You're on a watch too. I don't think you're missing much. Hi, Kellyanne. Look, they said there's a tsunami warning, and it's just, they're better safe than sorry. Err on the side of caution, you know what I mean? So, that's what we're looking at here, is a tsunami warning. Hi, Dizzy. Yeah, tsunami. And there's Tony Tudor. Really, you know what? Go. So, it's not something I'm really, not something I'm really worried about. It does make for an interesting morning, though, I knew this morning something weird was going on because it was just, at night, it kind of comes to life. But this morning had a really strange, sort of eerie quiet to it. And in asking around, I learned that this is a tsunami warning. When I lived in Texas, Tommy and I had a business in Galveston, and I surfed a lot. And the only time there were any waves in Galveston was like 3 or 4 days before a hurricane or 3 or 4 days after. But it's certainly a strange quiet. Tyler says, tsunami sounds scary. Looks like you're at the high ground. Yeah, there isn't. This is like the top floor in the apartment I live in. So there is that. We're like 235 feet above the ocean. So the truth is, if a tsunami gets me up here, that's not going to happen. But certainly fascinating. Hi, Joey girl. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a pretty good view. There's no doubt about that. But really quiet, kind of like a strange quiet. If you're just catching it, like, I don't know if you can see, here are just tons of boats that are never there. And that's because that's the marina, and every one of the slips are empty. There's nobody at all. Not one boat is in a slip. So, and now people are lining up like they're getting ready to watch something exciting. So I've never been through something like this before, so it's sort of interesting. Can you guys still hear me, or is the signal shoddy? Anyway, I just wanted to go live for a minute so that everybody, because here's the thing, people are going to get nervous. They're going to hear that there's a tsunami warning in Ecuador, and they're going to be concerned. Okay, good. Thank you, Tony. So, it is what it is. I can see Tommy. Tommy's out walking around. I see him way down there. I think I see him. I'm not quite sure. But I did communicate with him, and he's on his way here. So, did they say how big the waves are meant to be? Where we are here, there isn't, the waves are, there aren't much. Right there, you see a little piece of, right there, there's a Point Break, maybe a couple hundred yards off the shore that people surf. And on the other side, it's a peninsula. On the other side, there's on the other side of that peninsula, there are great waves, like legit, real waves. So I would imagine, of course, it may be really calm now. I don't know. It's a first for me, you know what I'm saying? And Presser, good to see you. Hey, man, you were going to email me. I'm looking for your email, dude. I remember. But I'd love to hear from you. chasetheheat@gmail.com. So you're surprised I remember that, aren't you? My brain is firing on all cylinders. 4 meters in Japan. Hi, Jane. Just heard 3 foot over normal. Yeah, that's what I heard too. But even if it's 3 foot over normal, it's not going to touch me where I am. Now, that said, I'm concerned about my fellow countrymen, because this is my home now. So I'm kind of concerned about people that It's interesting. If you walk around in the city of Salinas, back there, you'll see signs, and they're in Spanish, but you can tell they show big waves and an arrow where to walk in the event of a tsunami. So, and I'm not trying to be cavalier about this, but it's just, this is erring on the side of caution. And here, I don't know a thing about it, but I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dizzy, I would think that if there's a tsunami, there's going to be, all the water will recede until it does come back in. I've seen low tide a lot further than this is, so, But what's happening now, if you look down on the streets, there are people that are lining up to kind of get a view of it. Isn't this crazy though? Volcanoes, tsunamis, makes you wonder. A snorkeling wetsuit, you're all good. I'm not sure, Dizzy, to be honest, I don't know. When I need, I email you. I have pain, stress, what makes me not feel great. I'm doing good now. I'm glad you're doing good now. But if you ever need anything, email me. I got you. The earth reflects the chaos of mankind. Tell you what, there's a lot of weirdness going on in the world right now. And I'm not going to go along live for a really long time. I'm just sort of... Here's the honest to God, the real reason for this is people are going to hear that there's a tsunami warning, and people that know that I'm here are going to be concerned. Before I went live, I reached out to all my family and said, hey, don't worry, regardless of what you see on the news, things are good. So, the dude abides. Now that is a wicked good name for very, very good. Also, good to see you. It doesn't always recess, but it's a pretty common signal. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that would be... Now, if I looked out and you could see sand like, a mile out, I'd be concerned, but... I suppose I'd be a little bit more concerned if I was on the ground floor, but fortunately we're not. Look behind me. see anything. Nothing's behind me. Pretty interesting, though. Yeah, well, the boats, the marina is right there, Dizzy. Right here is the marina, all right? And there's not a slip there with a boat in. Every single boat's left, and they're all anchored out here. And that leads me to believe, and I probably could be wrong, because I'm wrong a lot, but I'd be willing to bet you that the docks it's a fixed dock. When Tommy and I had a boat in Clear Lake, we had two different, we paid at two different locations. One was a fixed dock, and one was a floating dock. And in case of bad weather, we would take our boat and moor it at the marina that had a floating dock. So as the waters rose, your boat rose with it. I remember there was I don't know what storm it was a hurricane or something, and somebody had their boat at the fixed dock, and they didn't move it. And as the water rose, the boat couldn't, because it's tied in, and the waters came above the boat, and the boat sank. And we went back. It's like, he's still tied. The guy was still tied, still tied off, but his boat was 4 feet underwater. So they either don't know or they're experienced. I would guess that they're probably experienced. Heat is good, Hempresser. They must be brave being out on the boat during a tsunami warning. You know what, Elsa, is this the end times? I absolutely believe we are in the end times. And you might think I'm a nut, and I might be, but I don't think I'm wrong. Kind of exciting. Make sure you're squared with the Lord. That's all I'm saying. Bassmaster, how many months do you think it would take to get zero tolerance from to the Chocolate Primo challenge days? I would do it really quickly, just because I'm that weirdo. What's the temperature right now? I don't know what the humidity is. It's probably 70 degrees. But it's kind of, if you just look at the weather, it's sort of a boring place, because it just doesn't ever change. So, but it's nice if you like 75 degrees. Elsa, yeah, I believe it. Some people think I'm a nut, but I'm ready. I'm ready big time. Pretty fascinating. Very, very interesting, though. I want to handle the heat better. These noodles help one day eating peppers as snacks. Yeah, you know what? The whole thing with raising your tolerance, you can do it really quickly, or you can do it slowly and gradually. Just know that if you try to raise your tolerance to chilies really quickly, you're going to pay. You know what I mean? If you want to dance, you got to pay the band. And capsaicin cramps are a drag. So, if you want to build your tolerance very slowly, you can get your tolerance to an absurd level and never, really suffer that much. You just do it gradually. But if you remember College Boy, when we did the David and Goliath series, that guy went from, hey, I don't eat peppers, to I'm a savage in a couple months. But he paid to do that, Exactly, Tony. You're good no matter how high the water. Yes, I am. Winchester Super X, good to see you. Doc Steele, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hi, Shannon. No pain, no gain. I don't know. It helps if you like it. I kind of like pepper pain. So I'm not going to go for a whole lot longer. I just wanted to, hopefully we'll see this and not worry, because there's nothing to worry about, I think. And I could be wrong, but I think. 30 degrees Celsius here in Ontario. That's 86. Hot and humid. John Scher, I am in Ecuador, South America. And this is Half Moon Bay in the city of Salinas. Yes, it is the Pacific. Dizzy. Triggy says, will you guys be affected? I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't really know. even if the 3-foot surge does happen, I'm 234 feet up. So I'm not too concerned about it. I said earlier, I'm kind of concerned for my countrymen. There's a lot of people that live, much lower, and I can see it would be a concern. I just don't. It would be interesting if I do see a big wave coming. I promise you, I'll do something live just to show you what it looks like. But there's no way we're going to be affected. No, here's the thing: I'll be affected by what it does to the city. You know what I mean? If it's bad, it's going to affect. It'll affect the city ultimately, but. I'm safe, relatively sure. Russia's been hit, says Alex. BT, BRK, I'm just going to call you Kivo. Hello, Mr. Scoville. Love the videos. Stay safe. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I think everybody needs, it's so funny. There's so many people saying, you're not eating hot stuff anymore. I'm still doing reviews. Absolutely. I'm a chili head. It would be really cool if everybody sort of saw this channel like a buffet. You know what I mean? You go to a buffet, you walk around, you look at the food, you eat the food you like. You don't yell at the chef for the food you don't like. And Tommy's back, so he's safe. How you doing, brother?
Good, how you doing?
Interesting, no?
Yeah, they're really close to town, though.
You sure did. But treat it like a buffet. If you walk into a restaurant and they have a buffet, it's not like you find something you like, and when you see it you don't like, you don't throw something at the people in the kitchen. You just kind of don't eat that. Even though you're not eating it, you're still consuming it. So on this channel, consume the stuff you don't like, but don't curse at me for the stuff you don't. Seems like a silly thing to have to remind people of. There are people that watch this channel, believe it or not, just for the cats. There are people that watch this channel, believe it or not, just for the guitar, which is really crazy because I'm not that good at it. And there are people that watch it solely for the spice. Now, within the spice, there are people that only watch it for the hot pepper reviews and don't watch the sauce videos. I have people that only watch the sauce videos and they don't watch the pepper videos. If we all sort of understand that, consume what you like and don't dump on me for stuff you don't. That's all. Let me see this. Yep, I am going. By the way, I'm going to. If anybody here has a wrench, do me a favor and get rid of those that need to be gone. I'm going to stop now, though, and go and hang out with my brother. I hope you guys have a